Let's get it started. Good morning, everybody. Hi, everybody. Hello, welcome. Good morning. Happy Wednesday. Sorry I'm late. I forgot that I had shut down. I usually just put the computers to sleep rather than put them through the stress of restarting all the time. And I had to shut this one down because of an update, and then when it woke up, it just did not want to open any software. It was being very strange. So now it's up. I mean, as tech problems go, many of you have been here for a while. Now that's pretty low rung for what we've been through on this show. Happy Wednesday. Oh my. It's a Wednesday. I will say, of all the Wednesdays that I've seen in a while, this is the most Wednesday. Of all the Wednesdays I've met, this was the most human. It's well, right on, Sharon. I'm glad you were thinking about me, because here I am. Don't forget to like and subscribe. It's the morning show. Monday, Wednesday, Friday. We get together, we look at the trends. Today I'm introducing something a little different, say a minor expansion, and that is headlines. Because, we have some rules around here. We got a couple rules here on the rock. One bullet each. And like, I don't know how much of the audience is old enough to know Andy Griffith references, but sure, why not? Yeah. By the way, I woke up this morning after reading the news, as I do when I get up, because from an infotainment standpoint, I wake and bake. I roll over, and after some living with my lady, I will often pick up my iPad after I go make her coffee and pet the cats for a little while. I'll get my iPad out and I'll start perusing the news. And I literally, while I was reading the news this morning, was going, oh, the Steve Juicy. Oh my God, yesterday. That was amazing. I think as CSL, we need to grab Steve Juicy just as a sound bite. I was literally this morning reading the news going, the world is full of crazy people. The world is full of crazy people. The world is full of crazy people. And some of those people are dumb. I was literally just started singing that randomly as I was reading the news today. The world is... The world is full of crazy people. The world is full of crazy people. The world is full of crazy people. And some of those people are dumb. And it was just, yeah. So anyways, so happy Wednesday morning. Happy hump day to all of you. Happy living. And okay, so as I'm going through sort of the news, mornings, this show is sort of forming. It's become... a time for me to just kind of either philosophically extrapolate on concepts that I would love to dive into in the afternoon, but that would make the show 9 hours long, or to address smaller snippets of things in the news without, spending your theme song, yes. Without, dedicating more time than they deserve. Is the light too bright? Which one? Oh, this guy right down here. Sorry. Let's see if we can do something about that. I apologize. Is that the case? Let's see. Can we do something with that? It's the Hue Go over there in the corner. Turn it right off. That's too... open it up. Bring it... How about we bring it down a touch? Make it kind of orange or red or something. Orange is better. That's better. It looks like the floor's on fire. The floor's on fire. And the chair. Indiana. We named the dog Indiana. Sorry. If anytime somebody says the floor's on fire, it makes me do Sean Connery from Last Crusade. The floor's on fire. And the chair. I finally remembered my Charlemagne. Anyways, so this is going to be such a weird morning. It just is. Because, all right. So here's what I normally do. Here's what we normally do. We normally pop up the trends of the morning and what's going on. And we stretch this out a little bit. And we go over kind of what's the, and a lot of it's expected and yada yada. And there's jokes to be had and made. And yeah, here you go. And an ad at the top. And yeah, this is the part that made me kind of like, oh boy. This is a big deal. This is, and it gets grosser and more serious. Oh, yeah, that's another one too, Ms. Taki. Don't get ahead. But yeah. Florida shock jock in Matt Gaetz' circle pleads guilty. First of all, Florida shock jock, I mean, honestly. But then this dude, hey guys, wake up in the morning. This is 106.13 there in the South Bay of Miami, Fort Lauderdale area. Get up and get with us. Come on, we got some crazy stuff. We got Skeeter, our unpaid intern, standing out in the middle of a parking lot, handing out a paddle. As shoppers come out and say, hit me in the dick. And win some tickets to come and see Ted Nugent and Kid Rock this weekend. If you hit them hard enough to make them double over, hardy. Now here's Sarah with the news. You guys. Anyways, that kind of shit, Fucking morning zoo bullshit. Florida shock jock. I mean, how do you shock people where people try to, like, the news is like every 3 days somebody's trying to mouth fuck an alligator. You're like, it reminds me of the first Jane's Addiction album. Nothing's shocking. All right, so Big Joe Ellicott, Big Joe Ellicott, the Ellicotter, Big Joe Ellicott, a former. Oh, that's sad. How do you get fired from there? I'm sorry, Jake. Your morning stunts just aren't cutting it. We've got You're trying to compete. There's nothing you can do. You're competing against the guy trying to mouth fuck an alligator. What are you going to do? Honestly, Stern was even driven off the air here. We just play we play the emergency broadcast system. It's the only thing that gets people's adrenaline up in Florida anymore. Yeah. A former Florida shock jock with potentially key information. More on that in a moment about the sex trafficking ring. Ring. That's not sex trafficking allegations like one person, that kind of fucking ring involving Rep Matt Gaetz. That's a bad sentence for your lawyers to read this morning. Shit. Has pleaded guilty in federal court. Ellicott is the longtime best friend of corrupt Florida tax official Joel Greenberg, who was Gaetz' wingman in the underage sex operation, according to several sources with direct knowledge of their relationship. Last year, the Daily Beast revealed that Ellicott knew intimate details about the teenage girl who was paid for sex by the group. Fucking hell. And actually texted what essentially amounted to a confession that they were scrambling to try and cover up details about their sex with a 17-year-old from the feds. Fuck this dude and Matt Gaetz and Greenberg and oh my fucking God. This is so amazingly sad, disgusting, and exciting and fun at the same time. It's terrible. Actually texted what essentially amounted to a confession that they were scrambling to try and cover up details about their sex with a 17-year-old girl from the feds. Oh, God. Ellicott was particularly legally exposed through his involvement with Greenberg, who ran the small Central Florida tax agency like a fiefdom, where he hired his friends for no-show jobs. That appears to be what took Ellicott down. In court documents last week, Ellicott was accused of fraud for agreeing to pay. Whoops, hold on, let me move this over here. For agreeing to pay bribes and kickbacks to a public official, and a separate drug crime, illegally selling the attention deficit hyperactivity prescription Adderall. Oh my God, what? Someone's illegally selling Adderall in Florida, in the vicinity of Mar-a-Lago? What? Fuck him. How can you not get a prescription for Adderall? Seriously. How hard is it? I can't seem to focus. Okay, here. Like, what's the hard part? They don't even run blood tests on you to see if you need Adderall. It's an attitude drug. It's a, like, I don't know, listless. I can't seem to focus. I don't know. Maybe I think I get scattered. Just tell a fucking story. And they're like, you ever tried Adderall? I don't know. What's that? You know, your doctor's like, here, I'll write you a 10-year prescription for it. Are you fucking kidding me? Adderall is harder to get than you think. I don't know. Not in Florida, it's not. Maybe they just don't have any because Florida's full of old people and not 15-year-olds whose parents want them to get into Yale. Also, that means he's probably flying to Mexico, picking it up where it's not, you don't need a prescription, and just bringing it back and reselling it. That's probably where he got in trouble. Because picking some up for somebody, Jesus Christ. Like, we did, when I was in Cabo for the Cabo Comedy Festival, that, like, everybody's like, you might want to get some, you know, dysentery medicine or something. And I was like, I'll be fine. And I didn't ultimately need anything. But a couple of the people I were with were like, there's a pharmacy right over here. I just want to make sure. And so they went in there. And I was like, there's fucking everything for sale in there that's over the counter that you need a prescription for in the United States. Like, it's just everything. Just whatever the fuck. So, yeah. Anyways. According to prosecutors, Ellicott was the intermediary in the kickback arrangement, carrying a $6,000 cash bribe from an unnamed tax office contractor to a public official, Greenberg. In exchange for the bribe, Greenberg and the contractor worked out a deal where the contractor inflated invoices for work with the tax office. With the tax office! For fuck's sake! And this is the Republicans are like, taxes, you can't trust, man. They try to steal from you in the tax. Like, what are you talking about? Yeah, when you're in charge. Ellicott also copped to selling a single unnamed client more than $5,000 worth of Adderall over the course of 2 years. The fuck? How much is Adderall? Jesus Christ. I guess you use more of it when you snort it. This is holy fuck. 5,000, well, 2 years worth. What the fuck? Hold on. This is gonna, hold on. I need to look something up. Hold on. By Adderall without, whoops, I'm on the wrong one. Hold on. Because the internet is the internet. Hold on 1 second. I'm going to get in trouble for just Googling this. Okay. Let's see. Okay, Adderall. Can you buy Adderall at a discount? Order Adderall online discount price. Buy. I don't want to buy now. I guess it says it. Hold on. Buy. Oh, this is just a dump site. Hold on. Stupid. Hold on. I'll just put cost of cost of Adderall prescription. How much does it cost to get prescribed Adderall? Look at this fucking question. Look what comes up when you type this in. Because I'm just trying to, like, how much is it? These are the 3 questions that come up the most. How much does it cost to get prescribed Adderall? I mean, no, I'm not buying any. I don't need any. I have hyper focus disorder. That's I have the exact opposite of what people take Adderall for. If I get locked in on something, I can't even hear sound around me. Ask my girlfriend when I'm reading. Like I don't like I'm just like that. Um the only like ADD aspect of my life is literally the jump around we do on this show as I'm bouncing around trying to like sheepdog stupid conversations on on right-wing media where they just get like fucking Tucker Carlson's ADD openings. Although, yeah. So how much does it cost to get prescription? What the fuck? 45 for three. This. That's how much price per month for generic. For this, and this is whatever top dose. Oh, Jesus, 53 more rows. Adderall, 30 milligrams, 100 mixed amphetamine salts. Jesus Christ. No, thank you. Holy shit. The generic name. Would you like some mixed amphetamine salts on your... Nah, I'm just... Hold on. What the fuck is with the Russians dumping little like useless there's none of your like there you go. I got a bunch of Russians in here who are like trying you guys do realize none of those links work in the United States, right? I don't know what the fuck they're putting in there. Look at the mixed amphetamine salts, motherfucker. It was selling meth. He was like, okay. Adderall, and Jesus, what the fuck does that make Adderall XR? You know, the mixed amphetamine salts aren't doing it for me. Have you tried XR? Meth XR. You're goddamn right. Say my name. Concerta, which is just for methylphenidate hydrochloride. What are these? These are all comparative effectiveness review study for consumers. Wholesale prices of prescription ADHD meds. Concerta Daytrana. It's a patch. Methylphenidate. That's this stuff, but just in a patch that you wear all the time. Dextroamphetamine. Okay. Dexedrine. Focalin. Focalin XR. Go Focalin yourself. Cling. Metadate. That's if you're having trouble focusing on Tinder. Metadate ER. That's if you end up in the hospital with an erection lasting more than 4 hours and you can't. Like, sir, how many Viagra did you take? What? Stay focused, sir. We need to know how much. I know what XR is. Extended release. I'm fucking around. This is ER is extended release as well. This is just the macho way of saying extended. You know what I mean? Because that, again, look at this. This is a product name. See, that's why there's a little R right there. Extended release would be ER, but that sounds like you're going to the fucking hospital, right? Even though that's proper, those are the two letters for it, right? But XR sounds way fucking macho, right? Non-stimulants. Yeah, these don't sell very well. They're way cheaper. I'm sorry. But they take a lot less. That's interesting. Like the dosage on these, look, this is 4 milligrams. These are like 20, 40 in dosages. Ritalin, there's that shit. This is all the same shit right here. Focalin, Metadate, Methylin, Ritalin LA, which is just sort of laid back, bro. It's Methylin LA, man. Come on. SR and Vyvanse. With his lixodexamphetamine dimesylate. That's serious. 20 to 70 milligrams. You're taking a shit ton of that stuff. Those are horse pay. Yeah. Anyways, this is from the NCBI or whatever on that stuff. But this fucking dude was selling $5,000 worth of Adderall. That's over 2 years. So he was basically jacking the price up 3 times because he's given it to you illegally. Right. Let's assuming the highest dose, assuming, right? Yeah. Let's see. And oh, shit. The client made the payments to Ellicott's company, Uncle Joe's Coins, and transferred money by a check and Venmo. According to the agreement, only $95 Venmo payment was disguised as a 2-hour full body massage. Disguised? 2 hours for $95? That's an incredible deal. You don't disguise something that way. Wouldn't that be one? I don't know. Is that the pricing situation in Florida? Jesus. Joe Zwick, an attorney for Ellicott, told the Daily Beast that his client had been cooperating in the sex trafficking case against Gaetz. Oh, god damn, that's got to be, again, that's something your lawyers do not want to. By the way, you wonder why this news dropped today as far as a news story, but they were calling around asking, for a comment on this story, right? For 2 days before they put this out. You guys have seen all the presidents, man. They're like, hey, would Representative Gaetz like to comment on this? I'm sorry, let's be more appropriate. Yeah, excuse me. Would Representative Gaetz like to comment on the fact that his buddy that sold him some Adderall was involved in the... Hello? All right, shit. Hi, is Matt in? Yeah, it's Politico. Oh, shit. Capital Switchboard. Hi. Yeah, this is Politico. Can you transfer us to the office of Rep. Matt Gaetz? Hi, Rep. Matt Gaetz' office. This is Politico. We're running a story on Matt Gaetz' sex trafficking. Hello? Shit. All right. We're going to have to run it with what we have. So this has been up and around for a couple days. He's had warning about this. And then you wonder why, CSL, you and I have been seeing this asshole all over the media lately on the right wing. Nowhere important. He's not going to get on Fox or any of those places because they know better, right? This dickhead is in huge trouble, and he's showing up on fucking the War Room and on well, I guess mainly the War Room. What was the other one he was on? Newsmax. He's been all over the fucking place on the right-wing media the last few days, like calling in favors to bitch about the FBI. Oh, yeah. The case is being handled by the Justice Department prosecutors in Washington, D.C., and is separate from the local ongoing investigation into Greenberg and the tax office, which gave rise to the charges in Ellicott's case. The investigation had nothing to do with the sex scandal, but with the unprecedented things Greenberg has done while in the tax office. The big difference is that Joel Greenberg was elected to serve the people and Joe was not. The fact that this was done by criminal information, not an indictment, is pretty telling of how the prosecutors view him in the case, Wick said, pointing out that Ellicott was not arrested. Obviously, they value his continued cooperation as he does as well. We are going to set off sentencing as long as we can and do everything we can to reduce his time. Which one of you morons wants to make $20? Oh, man. Oh, God. And imagine being Matt Gaetz and this is the middle of your week. Fuck. Oh, yes. And, let's see. We'll jump right ahead to it. Look at this. We're barely into year 2. And Biden's already got 1. What do you think the turnover is going to be? The question is, does Thomas make it another couple years as far as retiring? I think he'll hold on as long as he can, but yeah. Appointing a new Supreme Court justice will be one of the longest lasting pieces of Biden's legacy. Whatever. Like, for fuck's sake. No, it won't. No, it won't. The infrastructure bill will outlive even any of the decisions that the Supreme Court makes and then remakes and then doesn't make and then the laws pass and then they remake it and bullshit. bridges and the process of constantly rebuilding our roads and our power grid and all that kind of stuff will far outweigh and outlast any single Supreme Court justice or any two. I'm telling you. Like, it's important, don't get me wrong, but for fuck's sake. Yeah. I don't know. They always have an ad in here. Schools desperate for substitute teachers. Through retail, more self-service. I will say that I enjoy when in the Apple Store, using the Apple Store app to buy something and leaving the store. And I do feel a little criminally. Not that I'm doing something wrong, but that, like, I'm just going to walk out with this, okay? Like, I paid for it, promise. Like, I hold it up as I walk out, like, I'm fine. You know, when I have short hair, not so much a big deal. When you got long hair, everybody's like, all right, sketchy. Airbnb policy vet goes crypto. Perfect timing, asshole. Fintech, he deals his plans to join the leadership of a crypto venture capital fund next month. Good timing, sure. School principals are not okay. Secondary companies are experiencing frequent stress last school year. Really? Unlike all other workers. What do you mean? It's official. Stock market having the worst start to a year ever. Changing in stock indices. Dude, they're worried about a war in Europe. The fucking energy prices. People are buying they're taking some of their wins off the table. Still a percentage drop from something that's way fucking up. This is the same shit. Oh God, it's boring. Tyra says Republican savage Nashville. Well, that's true. One of them did park his van downtown and blow it up. Surprise pandemic of soaring trade deficits. Well, yeah. What do you mean surprising pandemics side effect? Asshole, boats aren't going anywhere. Of course there's going to be trade deficits. U.S. trade deficit by month. Dun, dun, dun. Yeah, because we didn't buy anything the year. Show the year before, stupid. Yeah. Brap. Blah, 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 blah. Dump. Kapow. It's percentages, whatever. That's a direct, let's see. Inflation and jobs get all the economic headlines, but meanwhile, a big shift is taking place in the underpinnings of the world economy. U.S. trade deficit is soaring. What's happening? American spending on imported physical goods has gone through the roof. Yeah, because we're the only ones with fucking money. While exports are growing slowly, making the U.S. the world's consumer of last resort. Yeah. That points to the Americans are scooping up a lot of stuff because our dollar's worth a lot. And everybody else is like, fuck, we got nothing. Sell, sell, sell. Amani Gandhi for SCOTUS. Are you out of your mind? I love Amani, but no fucking way. Too much weed. Too many, mean girl. She likes too many mean girl shows. Psychologically, it's not a good mix. Advocates say Biden has let Haitian migrants down. Continued turmoil in Haiti is causing a growing number of Haitians trying to make it to American shores, and some advocates say Biden is supporting this community in its time of crisis. Haitian American activists in South Florida tell us that feel President Biden has gone back in command. He's made to the community to stand up for them. Huh? There's a difference between, managing normal migration and all that kind of stuff, and while he was in office, the president of that country was assassinated and everybody ran for the hills. Oy, God. Yes. Okay, let's jump ahead because there's also there's Breyer hands open. Yeah, this is also in this in the news. And then where was the other one? Oh, this dude. So this is DeSantis's Surgeon General, and the Republicans in the legislature walked out of a meeting with him because he refused to say vaccines are good. In general. Yeah. Like, this is going to be a nutty story. We'll put a pin in it for later in that regard. And then the New York Times, their main story here is really very telling about where their focus is. And this is what happens when you have very New York centered news, because you're dealing with news in a way psychologically that you're in a very high populous area. That your focus, everybody walked out. Yeah, it's a good point, Roberta. But the surprise part, it's not surprising the Democrats walked out. It's surprising the Republicans did. Vaccination gap could lead to another variant, could let another variant emerge, experts say. Yes, we know this. But we're not going to put a gun to somebody's head and say, get vaccinated. You can't. As much as the right wing seems to talk about it as if that's what's happening. What's the difference? What's the difference between not letting me go in a restaurant that has a rule of their own that's not imposed by the federal government about vaccination and putting a gun to my head? I mean, if I can't eat at Chili's, you might as well shoot me. Like, it's so fucking childish. But Omicron may be subsiding in parts of North America and Europe, but more than 3 billion people around the world have yet to receive a single shot. We know this. And the presumption that somehow 2 years on from a novel coronavirus, where every pharmacy, pharmacological group in the world is working on their own variants of a vaccine, from the big pharma companies to the U.S. Army to the NIH and the CDC equivalent in 10 different countries, coordinating with the vaccine program for the entire globe. Yeah, it's going to fucking take a while. This is not a fault, it's a reality. And my problem with a lot of the conversation about a bunch of this shit is that it's talked about like it's a fault and not the practical reality of trying to vaccinate 7.6 billion fucking people. Right? Does anybody think that there's some sort of like, dude, why don't we just swipe right and make this happen? Like the world's a fucking app. Look, vaccinating people should be like Fruit Ninja. Know what I'm saying? Whip, 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 whip. Bomb, fuck it. Anyways, whip, whip, right? Is nobody? They're not going to just talk about this like, with cases rising in several regions, it's dangerous to assume the Omicron will be the last variant. Okay, nobody's assuming that. There is assumption in some of the medical community that it might be a trend towards less dangerous ones, and that people who've had Omicron, for example, won't get the if another dangerous one comes along, this will provide protection from it because they're related. But nobody's assuming any of this shit. But look how it's being talked about. The head of the WHO said, follow COVID news. And by the way, that dude just got his job back, and I don't think that's a good thing. A study identified 4 factors that could predict if a person will develop long COVID. What to do if you lose your COVID vaccination card? That's a good question for stuff. What do you do? It's never, it never quite fit in your wallet, so it's no surprise you may have misplaced it by now. I folded mine in half. More than a year, and it's looking pretty gnarly. Many health departments can provide you with your vaccination information. Records themselves aren't lost, but if you're hoping to use the card to prove your vaccination status, more digital first approach to record keeping. Losing it may make it harder. Here's what to do. They might be on your phone. If you're in these states, you can access their vaccination records from their smartphones. In Nevada, they have they'll let you use them. Those states include. I don't know why it's not listed here, but it is. Other states have websites for vaccination. Things get a little more complicated. If you're one of the states that didn't go digital, and unfortunately, I guess technically it's just one of the national cards that you use. The state didn't do it or whatever. Depends. Your doctor might have an extra CDC issued white card, and they can at least or you can always buy one from a third tier actor from a 90s sitcom. Apparently needs the money. Don't. I'm kidding. That's wrong. But no, the CDC will not send you another one. Yeah, right. Hey, CVS has a record of vaccination patients. Walgreens, Walmart, if you went there. This is so complicated. You can just see the psychology of the writers at the New York Times. Oh, God. What do I do? This is so complicated, you guys. I would like to take your questions now. What our plan is, of course, is to spray poison in the face of everyone. Russia dismisses U.S. threat to personal sanction Putin as bluster. Okay, try to spend your what do they have over there? Root coin. Germany wavers in the Ukraine standoff, wearing its ally. Medal stands fuel doubts of reliability. Doesn't matter. They're worried like about the natural gas thing. We just met with them about natural gas. Like, they're fine. It's silly. They're trying to get more reassurance that they can get all the natural gas they need because they're relying on everybody else because they're shutting down all their nuclear facilities preemptively because they wanted to pat themselves on the back about going green earlier, and in the process have made themselves more reliable on a dirty state like Russia that not only, is producing oil and gas, because natural gas comes from, fracking, searching for oil. It's a secondary aspect of oil drilling. So in that process, Russia doesn't give a fuck. Like, America's like, all right, we're going to have to set some rules. If you're going to frack, you got to do these kind of things. And as we noticed, it was causing problems, or try to mitigate those much problems. You think Russia does any of that shit? Are you kidding me? So Germany's relying on a dirtier way of extracting natural gas and then patting themselves on the back for using natural gas? Get out of here. It's goofy. Dismiss U.S. threat. We dismiss this threat. Biden says the U.S. is willing to levy personal sanctions against Putin, which is true. What U.S. sanctions? Where's that dude? How much does it cost to ride a bear shirtless? What's that park? What's the cost on that park? Is there a lift ticket that you get when you ride a bear? I'm going bear riding this weekend. Lift ticket prices through the fucking roof. What U.S. sanctions on Putin might look like? Let's take a look. They're going to I'm no longer going to be able to buy things at H&M. I could be H&M model. This is my dream come true. By the way, this is my yacht. It's completely nuke proof, and it costs $12,000. I paid for it with cash. Houses personal. Exactly clear what measures. Special designated list. The Obama administration waits sanctioning Putin personally after the invasion and annexation of Crimea in 2014. The interference used President in 2026, but the White House decided against it, in part to avoid appearance of a direct clash between two presidents, which Mr. Putin might relish. Although he is believed to have amassed a great deal of personal wealth, it's highly unlikely that any of it is in the United States. And anyway, yeah, but the international banking system, that's how we do it. A lot of his personal wealth seems owned or safeguarded by his cronies. When a controversy erupted over a palatial state on the Black Sea, said it belonged to Mr. Putin, for example, the Russian billionaire Arkady Rotenberg stepped up and said he was the owner. In addition, U.S. officials say the Russian, well, we'll just sanction that guy then. Travel ban, because I'm sure he's not engaged in anything. We can stop Vladimir from vacationing in Disneyland, said Jeffrey Scott, assuming from the Peterson Institute. Types of sanctions have been taken and passed against leaders, second, third, and fourth-rate powers, but not generally against major adversaries because they still have to deal with them. This is not going to change anything. Cool. Well, then why would he bitch about it? Who cares? Why would he call it a bluff? Ukraine on the edge, images from the front lines. Here we are smoking. Putin's month-long silence on Ukraine keeps everyone guessing. That's because, let's see if I put it over. I was reading it this morning. There was this story about a bunch of people talking about... where are you bastard? Don't tell me I closed you sheet. I think it was on Politico, I think. Hold on one second. Let me look this up. Good morning, everybody. Hi, and welcome. This is the morning show. We're just running through the headlines, seeing what's going on in our world. Like and subscribe, and all other things that people who on Twitch you can subscribe and with Amazon Prime, and it won't cost you a dime. I'll eventually get it out. I got to get a spiel down. I got to write it out. Oh, God. All right. Putin. All right, here we go. Yeah, here you go. This was the story that was coming up this morning. I was going over where on Politico's magazine thing on it. Will there be a war over Ukraine? 13 Putin watchers weigh in. A massive fail for Russian interests. He's not an evil genius. His machismo is a disguise. Prepare for the next crisis. There's one of them was like he was trapped by his own. We'll continue. Black Malias? Black Malia. That's like the Black Dahlia. Black Malia? Yeah, yes. A lot of what these folks are saying is that even though he's, full of bluster and selling this shit, he's basically backing himself into a corner. Here's what they said. These are all the people. President Putin has become a master of suspense. Hitchcock would be jealous. Suspense provokes confusion in the West, whereas war could unite the West. So far, escalation has worked, forcing the West to look for a deal with the Kremlin. Putin's challenge now is to prevent suspense from turning into a bluff. In the end, he will have to choose between war and farce, which means humiliation, and he's not ready for that. I'm not sure Putin knows himself what his next step will be. We're used to judging him as a rational man, but he is a man of emotions and dark emotions. That's how he took Crimea. Even if negotiations or the understandable economic consequences of invading Ukraine deter him rationally, he may suddenly make a personal, irrational decision. That's the thing that everybody's saying. It's, that he's a lunatic. That's always the fear that you have. Despite the prevailing pessimism, I believe the failed Geneva talks and continuing Russian buildup have concentrated minds, opening several diplomatic channels, improving prospects for diplomacy. So I expect Putin to wait, assess the results, keep his powder dry, and not rush to invade Ukraine. Putin will continue blackmailing us. Even with no attack, there's new security reality in the region. We are debating things that were not debatable before the escalation. Russia keeps inching their geopolitical vision forward on the West, and it's very possible. I mean, there's a good point that this is all about building a stronger tie with Belarus and getting the forces in there more aligned. And, obviously there's a problem with Kazakhstan that he has to deal with. He'll wait to see what comes from the diplomacy while preparing for a blitz if the talks fail. Thanks for the quick and short on this. With Putin, it's always important to expect the unexpected, which is just such a stupid phrase. I hate that. I mean, that's expect the unexpected. I mean, no one would expect him to turn into a beaver wearing a cape and fly at everyone going, I mean, it's totally unexpected, but that's what you have to expect. Expect the unexpected. I don't expect him to spontaneously combust, so I'm kind of expecting that. So stupid. Yes. Make sure he has a range of options for action, different ways of leveraging a situation to exploit weakness. If all our attention is on Ukraine, then his next move is somewhere else to throw us off balance and see how we react. I mean, arguably, he's been creeping into Belarus, and that's what this is about. Wants to break the West's will to resist his security demands by keeping it in a state of nervous tension as it tries to fathom what his next move might be. No, there's a certain point where he collapses under it. We have a much bigger economy. If you think, dude, if the USSR couldn't do it, you think Russia in its current form can do it? Flank. Love it. Share it. FWANQ.com. Thanks, Cosmic Rose. Bless you for that. Yeah, he's totally hungo on on running into Ukraine. So far, at least the Russians seem to feel there is a value to continuing the dialogue. So for the moment, I anticipate a mix. Yeah, that's what's happening. Made himself a hostage of his own strategy. Opposing his ultimatum about NATO enlargement, threatening to invade Ukraine, is not met by the West, and especially the U.S. He'll be forced to react soon. What kind of reaction it will be, we can only guess. I'm going to guess it's a bunch of cyber shit, because they're good at it, and it's cheap. And who else? France, and Israel, and Belgium just gave Ukraine a bunch of, I'm sure maybe the UK too, just gave them a bunch of lethal drones. See, here's the problem with taking a country, and I'm sure you guys know this, but if you're going to take some area that isn't currently yours, you have to go into that area and stay there. All the other side has to do is keep you out and kill you if you get in. So the weight of this situation is on you. You have to secure that territory and not get killed in the process. because you're the one making the advance. The person who makes the first move in this, the other side just has to repel it. And depending on how much, force they have to do it, you're up against that. And you have to have people on that ground to claim it as your own. You can't go, well, we moved in, we set up a wall, and then we backed off. We own this ground even though there's nobody on it. No, you have to keep people there. And that's dangerous. It's always dangerous. It always has been. Occupation is the hard part. That's right. It gets harder and harder, especially if the locals don't want you. You'd think they would have learned from Afghanistan the way we learned from Afghanistan, the way everybody learned from Afghanistan, the way the Chinese are going to learn from Afghanistan. Apparently not. They figure, we'll take the areas in the side that are, that like us, and we'll flood a bunch of resources into that area so that those folks will have more resources than the nearby Ukrainians. So that's kind of the only plan that can possibly work is he moves into the area that's the Donbas region, which is full of, ethnically and cultural Russians who are Ukrainian, but that side with Russia a little bit, that zone. And then treat those people like kings for a couple of years. Literally flood more money and jobs and stuff in there than it's warranted. Now, you have to have the resources to do it, and you got to understand that you're going to be pissing off people back home who aren't getting those resources. But you got to, just like we did with Afghanistan. Think about the conversation of us building schools in Afghanistan and Iraq. What happened? The conversation turned to, why aren't we building those here? Remember all that shit? Yeah. So there's a cost to that as well. But that's the plan. So you move in, you flood it with stuff, and you go, yeah, that's the friendly side. Those assholes want you to work for a living, but we're going to just give you all this fun stuff. And then the idea is that the people just 10, 15, 20 miles that interact with you on the border of the new border of Ukraine go, this is better if we're with Russia. And then you start scooping them in, and then you're within shooting distance, literally, of Kyiv. Yeah. So, and by the way, Hillary for SCOTUS. Oh my God, can you imagine the craziness of the people? Hey. We were spending $300 million a day in Afghanistan, helping them build up and repelling the Taliban and creating their military from scratch, and then keeping it up, just holding it up. Yeah, I don't think it'll happen either. Yeah, so there you go. This is the other thing too. This is interesting. What would surprise people to know about Putin? Well, he's got this thing for adult coloring books. That he's not an evil genius driven by hatred of the West and his values, rather in his foreign and domestic policies. He fits well with the traditions of Russian statehood and foreign policy strategy. Located on a vast territory with few formidable physical barriers and a harsh, unforgiving climate, Russia has historically sought security and strict internal control and pushing its borders as far as possible from its heartland. Same thing China's going through right now. In strategic terms, I mean, honestly, do you think China benefits from having to deal with the Xinjiang region at all, really? They use some of the desert to make, nuclear fuel because nobody lives out there. But holding on to that territory, considering its proximity to Kazakhstan and all these other countries and its linkage to Afghanistan, what a pain in the ass. You got to put resources out there, feed them, drive trucks full of diesel all the way out there, food. There is none. Anyways, Russia has historically, I like Michelle Obama on the SCOTUS would be pretty great, although it would totally politicize the entire thing, and your goal has to be to not politicize the SCOTUS. So it's got to be somebody like that. Somebody relatively unknown. That's the best way to go. Otherwise, you just you just set yourself up for everyone, dismissing the Supreme Court as as hyper political. Because even the ones that the Republicans put on, none of us have heard of them before. They didn't, like Ted Cruz was on the list, but nobody was stupid enough to, for shits and giggles, literally giggles. Sally Yates would be terrific, although she just fought breast cancer and she's no spring chicken in that regard. I would much rather have her heading up the DOJ. Located on a vast territory believe me, they're looking for somebody who's like younger than Amy Coney Barrett. Like watch for that. Located on a vast territory with few formidable... I already read that. Russia has historically sought security and strict internal control and in pushing its borders as far as possible from its heartland. In strategic terms, Russian expansion is defensive, although it clearly looks offensive and aggressive to those people who've been compelled to provide Russia its strategic depth. This is the drama that is playing itself out in Ukraine today. See, you know what? One of the things... Can I speak to our Russian friends for just a moment? And may I speak frankly? We don't want anything you have. Europe wants natural gas and fuel from you. They will simply fucking buy it. They have no interest in invading the Middle East to get it anymore. We're all moving away from it. None of us give a fuck. No, that's the biggest problem that Russia has to face right now. Hi, Russia. Your people are fairly cool. What's up, Vasilyev and company? The Sistema teachers all around the world. Rabkov, all those folks. But we're not trying to seize your grain fields. This ain't 1820. Nobody's going to roll in there and enslave the Russian people and turn them into low-wage workers. We don't give a fuck. It's 2022. Nobody gives a shit. If we had NATO all the way up to the edge in Ukraine, they'd immediately go, okay, cool, that's just to keep Russia from fucking, like, trying to seize this place. If they decided to join because they liked it, or because Russia was like, hey, this is the place where we're making all the cool shit, which they're not doing, maybe if you fuckers backed off, stopped focusing on military adventurism, and started focusing on other stuff you're good at, which is technological innovation, which you fucking well haven't done since 1967... Is there any practical reason, and this goes for people are people. Is there any practical reason why there's not a large Hadron Collider in Russia? With the technological know-how they had in their space program for fucking years, is there any reason? No. There's tons of land. There's a lot of space for it. You can build it underground. Nobody gives a fuck. We don't care. We're not interested. The only reason we're interested in Russia right now at all is because they're interested in taking shit that isn't theirs. That's the only way they stay interesting. Imagine being Vladimir Putin running a country that fucking big. And you have no primary worth as a country right now. None. Hadrons are illegal in Russia. In Russia, Hadron collides with you, right? Yeah, exactly. America, Russia, America is just not into you, dude. We don't care. You can try and be the bad boy and give us a glint from the jukebox, but we're just fucking not. We've settled down. We're in a committed relationship with reality right now. And this is the conversation that I think would probably quell a big portion of this. is that the only reason Ukraine wants to be part of NATO or there's any conversation about this is because Russia thinks its only value is in reclamation of land for what? Gas resources? Motherfucker, you guys got tons of that shit, and you're not going to be able to sell it anyways in the next 10 years. Everybody is shifting away from this. And your pipeline's going to go the other way. Europe is intentionally shifting to green tech for the same reason we moved away from oil over the last 10, 15 years. For national security reasons. The technology is finally caught up where we can start making this slow transition away. And Russia's pipelines are going to go the other fucking direction. They're going to go to China. Because China's going to be last on board with shifting away from coal to natural gas and natural gas to other sources. And maybe, just maybe, to our dear Russian friends, if you had someone else in charge that treated you like a real country instead of their own fucking pile of gold like a dragon in an old story, you guys could get back to how much innovation and creativity you had at one point, even though it was misdirected during the Cold War into, militaristic stuff. You were still able to invent a lot of cool shit of very high quality with fucking nothing. It was impressive. Now what? Now you've got an economy smaller than California. And what do you do? I mean, you think California has to fucking invade Hawaii or Arizona or Nevada or Oregon for worth? Yes, she hates Putin too. That's another conversation for another time. But they're still going to need the gas. They're still,
I don't read, obviously.
That's right.
They don't like the gas.
Right. I'm Russian and I thank my Baba Olga each day for bringing my dad to America. Fuck Vlad. Well, that's the thing. There honestly is no practical reason why Russians couldn't have a functioning, democratic republic like we do. None whatsoever. It's not that they're not resilient, creative, and all that stuff, but I mean, the whole fucking country's overrun with alcoholism. Why? Lack of hope. That's what people do when they're fucking freezing and there's nothing over the horizon. Why wouldn't they? And I honestly, the biggest question that, is happening right now, and probably why there's so much, diplomatic confusion about this bullshit too, is a generalized what the fuck for? Does Putin honestly think we give a rat fuck about anything in Russia? That we want anything from Russia? That Europe wants anything in Russia worth invading over? Like whatever the cost of all the natural gas, all the oil, all the coal, whatever the fuck they think is there. What little lithium they have, what other, falsely named rare earth minerals, which are not rare at all. They're just hard to process. And people would rather process them in big swaths of land without a lot of people around. And Russia has a lot of that, and China has a lot of that. That's why they're ahead of the game. But seriously, nobody wants what Russia has. We don't give a fuck. Just stop trying to take shit from other people and build yourself up. I watched a YouTube video, grocery shopping in Russia. Yeah, that's a fascinating thing. I think we probably watched the same video. It probably came up in your recommendations because of my show, because I watched it and like people who watch this also watch that, or the guy who's on this was on it, right? Currently, let's see. I'll show you. Like, Russia has a huge inflation problem. Russia has let's see. I'll try to look up Yeah, hey, fucking hell. So I don't know what the newest one. Yeah, here you go. Fucking hell. I mean, it's just kind of fucking sad. This is. In pandemic's grip, Russia sees spike in age-old bane, drinking. Widespread false belief that alcohol will protect drinkers from the coronavirus is helping to drive an increase in liquor sales and domestic violence. Azad Azadulin, chief doctor at a clinic in south central Russia, is scrambling to prepare for an influx of patients. He's ready to deploy spare beds and stocking up medication and disinfection. The affliction is he's girding for is alcoholism. The patients are dour, irritable, and aggressive, describing the people he's treating during the pandemic. Over New Year's, they're more compliant and happy because they were drunk. Reducing the country's passion for inebriants has been one of the government's main public health goals under Vladimir Putin, who has, and the most recent official statistics show Russians consuming 1/3 less alcohol per year than they did in 2003. But days-long drinking binges are still a habit for some people, especially during the holidays in late March. That's because when the social media posts come out. It's okay. So when it's socially acceptable, it's a great picture, by the way. Socially acceptable for you to be like drinking nonstop. Then you're going to post more pictures of it. And then afterwards, the shame of drinking alone all day long, you're not going to post like, pictures. Banned all alcohol. Its head officer, Mr. Nikolaev, banned all alcohol sales for a week in the region of capital of Yakutsk, with a population of some 300,000 in several other districts. Around a dozen of Russia's 85 regions, largely rural areas, have struggled with substance abuse, have also limited alcohol sales. Which, again, it's a dumb plan. You're not going to solve this problem just by limiting people's access to stuff, because there was a well-known story about a school that had a college that served beer. You could buy beer. And they were worried about underage drinking, so they banned beer sales at the football game. And what the end result was, a huge spike in drunk driving accidents, including some fatalities. Well, why would that be? You banned alcohol. Well, it's because you couldn't sneak a beer because of the low alcohol content, you couldn't sneak a beer into the game. It was too big. So they would sneak in flasks of hard liquor, and then the kids developed a taste for hard liquor, and then because they were mixing it with their sodas secretly, and then they were more drunk when they left the game than when they were having beer. This is exactly the problem. Like, fucking, if you want, a fentanyl wave in Russia, this is how you do it. This is the prescription. Oh, Katie Porter would be great. Oh my God. That's a great point, guys. Yeah, she's a law professor. Perfect. Oh, so good. Oh, Katie Porter, come on. Come on, Katie Porter. What a lovely use for her. She didn't have to worry about re-election or any of that bullshit. And what a valuable... Katie Porter for SCOTUS. There we go. Good point, guys. Anita Hill. Put Anita Hill on there just to draw... Can you imagine the big smiley face pictures? Her on one side and Clarence on the other. Just, oh boy, that would be awesome. Anyways, okay. I'm sorry if anyone doesn't like this. The governor of the Republic of Bashkortostan in south central Russia said that's at the cross between Gage and the 10. Said in a social media post at the beginning of the month announcing it, history will be the judge. Announcing alcohol sales will be banned from 6 p.m. to 10 a.m. So get all your drinking in during the day when you're driving around. Oh, boy. It's just sad. It's fucking sad. Fix it. I guess war in Ukraine is easier than dealing with your own domestic issues. Let's see. I'm going to try to do the newest one. This one. Maybe there's a this week one. Chud, is that you? Hold on. I think. What's going on? Who's that? Hello. What's going on? You hear me down here? Want to come say hi to everybody? Hello. Come here. Oh my gosh. Hi. Yeah, how are you? How you doing, Sloppy? How you doing? Big girl. You big girl. This is Chud, everybody. Hi, Chud. We love you too. She's a hugger. She's also afraid of heights, I think, is probably more of what it is. Chud! Yeah. What's up, Wheezy? You okay? Oh, it's a good scratch. She's big. She likes her jawline scratched a lot and the chin. Yeah, big time. Hello. Hello. Hold on. You're hard to hold on to and click my buttons. There's a, Elgato has come out with a foot pedal, so you can switch scenes with your foot. I might have to do that. Just so that I can hold a cat, because when I have Chip on my lap or I'm holding Chud, it's hard for me to switch screens so that I can show you guys a clip that I'm working on, and I need to step on it. By the way, thanks for the super chats, because that's where it's going. Hello. Hello. Did you enjoy breakfast? Yeah? There you go. Oh my gosh. Mm-hmm. That's what's going on. Oh, there you go. Hold on. There you go. Let go. Claw. Thank you. That's good. All right. Hold on. Yeah. Hang out for a second. I got you. Oh my God, you're shedding all over me. Look at this. Look at the shed. Look at the shed that's happening. And my shoulder. Look at that. Oh my God. I just scratched all this off. I'm like that dude in Only Murders in the Building. All right. So, let's see. Are you prepared? Why is Russia going over? Best Russian steaks. All right, hold on. This is the shopping in a food market. This is Russian. This is a lot of the hold on. Matidurushka Yarushka. Hold on. This is what it's like shopping in a Russian food market, man. Supermarket in Russia, what it really looks like is Christmas time. Still haven't taken our tree down. It's always Christmas in Russia. What do you know? Some dude from Philly wrote something on the wall. Let's all go inside and see what it's like inside a Russian mall. It's time for food. And get something now. This is where the smell is coming from. Oh, is that closed? What's happening? That part's closed off. Nobody's there. Why are you not showing the whole thing? Here we go. Wieners and avocados. Christmas presents. Here's some jams and jellies. Here's some snacks in bags. Look at all the chocolates. What more could you want? Okay, there's a curtain in front of this empty aisle. We're not letting you film this aisle over here. Look at all these, the cute bear and stuff. Meanwhile, empty aisle has a giant curtain in front of it. We'll slow-mo this part so that I can make it last longer, because I just did a whip pan in the candy aisle. We got a shit ton of candy, man. There's some cold cuts over there. You can get a Tofife. They added a Tofife has another E on it for the Russian spelling, I guess. I'm not above a good Tofife. Yeah, I hope those aren't Chinese avocados, too. There's very tight camera work. Not a lot of floating. It's interesting. Huh. What a supermarket. Okay. Bacon. They're down a little bit in the bacon department. That's bound to happen. Basically looks just like a Western market. The design, it's not like they designed their entire store after a fucking Winn-Dixie or anything. Oh, no fresh. Well, I don't know. Maybe there's Well, they're definitely stocked in the alcohol aisle. That one, they'll show you the whole fucking aisle. Notice that? Look at that. The first time it comes up, cat food and liquor. There we go. There's a tall shot. Cookies, detergents, Tide. Oh, Tide's doing very well over there. Sorti, exit. All right. Nivea's doing all right. This dude's like, that was it. Okay, thanks so much. Bye-bye now. I didn't show you the aisles that were empty. I didn't show you the stuff that... An ordinary walking in Russia. I am walking on winter evening in Russia. Hold on. And where? Oh, it went away. Hold on. Whoops. There you go. Whoa, my gosh. There you go, Chud. Good Lord. Thank you. Thanks for all the fur. Oh, God. Look at all these options they always give me. Stocks are crashing. Oh, my God. Everything is dying. The whole thing is falling apart. Different Russia. Provincial Russia. Grocery shop in a tiny Russian village. Normandy format talks underway. Honestly, this whole thing seems to just be about, like, please take Russia seriously. Please see us as an actual. Please let us. We're meaningful. You have to treat us like it. I mean, basically, Russia's now just Glenn Close in Fatal Attraction. I will not be ignored. That's essentially where they are. Yes. Russia has always in stock tofife, cat food, and liquor. That's Russia. I'm starting to not believe that your obesity statistics are better than ours. We did this before once, but there's a let me see if I can I'm gonna find one that's relatively, I mean, you can't find one that's new per se. Oh God, Lord. It's so very telling. Okay, hold on. So these guys are ADV China. They're hi guys. I've never been on their show or whatever, but when I was starting to do Explore China, the travel show that I did, I checked in on some of the expats that were living there and doing regular stuff, and you could see it turn because they initially started out as like motorcycle across China, and it was really cool and yada yada. And then over the years, you can watch their show like, what the hell is happening? And there was a huge distinct change in China in the last, since Xi Jinping took over, and not for the better. And you can see it. It's just depressing. Building for building's sake. It's pretty terrible. So this is, one of their stories, like reviewing when they went there, because they are not there anymore. They had to leave the country. But look at the stories. These are just in the last year. These are people putting up stuff. China's Ghost City. China, millions of empty homes and hundreds of ghost cities exposed. This is China Reports. China's $52 trillion bubble. Imagine that for a second. By the way, the entirety. Remember when I was saying the U.S. Economy is 2.5 times bigger than China's? Materially, just in GDP, it's about 2 times. We're at like 24. They're at like 10. We're a little over that. But beyond that, all of our real estate is actually worth something. Even overpriced American real estate worldwide still retains its value. And people worldwide know it. That's why they're buying it up. China's isn't worth shit. And they've got a Lehman Brothers level credit default swap program that is just $52 trillion in layered debt and no way to ever pay it off. Like Greece will fix their problem before China does. Also, and I made this point the other day, but I can't say this strongly enough. The size of your economy is not based on how many fucking people are in your country. The size of your economy is judged by how much money those people in your country have left over to do whatever the fuck they want. Start a business, send their kid to school, all that kind of shit. So if you're 1-to-1, where the amount of money somebody makes is equal to the amount of money they need just to survive, or they need to for the entirety of your populace. I mean, there's the U.S. economy, the average American, the mean economy, the average American is $65,000 to $58,000, depending on whose numbers you're looking at. Right? The average Russian makes $10,000 a year. Now, Russian population, that's current population. I don't know what their figures are, but let's look at it. Population, Russia, 144 million. So Russia has half the, I'm going to make a case right here. So Russia has 144 million people, half the population in the United States, and they make 1/6 the money of the average American. So understand that the mean is split between above and below. It's and by the way, the mean versus average. The average is how many people make the most, how many people make the least, what's in between. The mean, which is what we're really talking about, is the most number of people in the United States make this number, and everything else is about demographics, right? So the mean for most Americans is $52,000 to $68,000, right? And we have 320 approximately million people in our country, okay? They have half that, and they make 1/6 the mean. The average Russian that you will run into makes 1/6 that in real numbers, not in the super rich Russians versus the super poor rich Russians. Because if you do that, they're totally fucked, because the oligarchs are uber millionaires and billionaires, and everybody else is just scraping by. So, but the important thing is, you need to know this: Russians in general, at the volume of humans that are in their country, make about $10,000 a year. Okay? So do the Chinese. Let me say that again. The average Russian in a country of 144 million people, makes the same as a country that has 1.4 billion people in it. So yes, China's economy is enormous, but the benefits to that enormous economy are just as are pitiful, because they're equal. Their experience in that economy is equal to the Russians' experience, which is fairly terrible right now. So just because your economy is large because you have a large number of people does not mean that that experience is actually shared or big enough. The American experience, as challenging as it is for a lot of people, we have enough money left over as in the middle class to provide services for a lot of poor people. Like, we need, we're always talking about more programs and more money that we need for those programs, but as far as individual share of what we're giving as Americans, both in our tax dollars and in our charitable spending, we have money to do that in a way that no one in Russia or China does. So in some ways, the Russian economy is 10 times that of China's economy, because it services that many fewer people, and they have a living quality that is equal to a state that has that many friggin' humans in it. I'm sick of this nonsense about the ginormous nature of the Chinese economy. It is just person to person. It's just physical work. And we've talked about the demographic failures. Both Russia and China are facing the same stupid problem over the next couple of years. China's is way more self-inflicted because of the one-child policy for 25 years. So it's going to take them 25 years to grow a 25-year-old, the excess 25 years, if they started Guess what, Hal? Seniors on Social Security in the United States are not making much more than Russians. Yes, but they also, it accounts for a certain amount of baseline. And there's a huge difference between people who either own their house or have Section 8, support when they're older, and they make something from Social Security. This is what the hardest working Russians make. What do you think their later years are like if that's all they have? Anyways, the point I'm trying to make is the idea that these economies are big or impressive in any way is just stupid. The Chinese economy is not big, especially when you account for the fucking debt that they took on. And the fact that our debt, we're always aware of it. We've got that little counter in Union Square in New York that's always going, and oh dear, oh God, the debt, it's 100% of GDP. Theirs is closer, Greece's is like 300 and it's screwed. And everybody's like, well, China's is like closer to 200, but there's a lot of stuff that, No. It's more likely 500. Because they lie about all the numbers. It's all bullshit. Okay, and then check this out. Look who Bloomberg markets are. China's so-called ghost cities are finally showing signs of life. A decade ago, pictures of the vast urban district. Vast new urban districts in China that stood vacant are gaining residents and businesses. No, they're building the next door shit. The people that live there are moving next door. These are still here. Exploring colossal abandoned ghost city. There's so many. I don't know where this dude is. If he's still there now. Yeah, because they got to do it in secret. And you can't fly drones. Look at this shit. Dude, and we drove by this stuff all the time. And there were cranes in the background running nonstop. For what? Yes, Trump owes $800 million, and he's got $93 million in the bank right now. Or he did at the end of the presidency, and he spent all the money that came in from the Save America PAC. Why do you think he's selling a flip book? Look at this shit. Look at all this wasted material. Look at all this wasted concrete and steel. Think about the carbon footprint of all the concrete that was made. For fucking nothing. Window washing rigs. Not even windows on the fucking building yet. Oh, God. Everywhere. Look, is there just a rotted crane sitting there? You're going to use this shit? Just a dead bird. On and on. I mean, what could you do with this building? Oh my God, what I could do with this space. Right? Holy shit. Can't, we were talking, when I showed you guys some of these before, people were like, can I fly that? Can you bring that building over here? Because we could use it. Yeah. And then they can't make, and the point these guys are making is that these buildings have been sitting so long, you can't do anything with them. They're just fucked. And there's miles and miles and miles of this shit. Oh, and then the other thing too is, let's see if they show this. So they had one of the cities that was going to be okay, and then the Samsung factory that was the reason for it existing is gone. So there, there's no reason to live there anymore. This thing, they packed up and left. They're relocating. This is all about supply chains and shit like that. They're just using stock footage and pictures. Yeah, but this was where there was supposed to be a big Samsung facility that they were going to build, and it's not going to be there anymore. It's moving to the States or Mexico. Jesus. Think about that. I mean, it's just like, that's fucking depressing. Like, all those buildings. Yeah, and I mean, they're shit built and they're dangerous and you wouldn't want to live in them because they'll fucking fall over. There is no up to code. There is no code. Oh, and by the way, all the Republicans who are like, we need less government regulation. This is what you get. You get buildings that are unsafe to live in, and you want more regulations, especially if you want shit to last a long time. That's what regulations do. Is it a pain in the ass? Yes. Are there some regulations that are overlaps where you're checking 2 boxes instead of 1? Yes. But it beats the fuck out of this. There is enough empty real estate in China right now to house the entire population of Australia 3 times over. Bill Maher raves about China. Bill Maher is talking out of his ass. Bill Maher is still mad at me because the Chinese woman he brought as a date to the end season party for one of the seasons of Real Time spoke to me in Chinese and we had a conversation. If there's probably one single reason I haven't been on Real Time, that's it. Which is a shame, because if he listened to the woman he was going out with at that time, I don't know if he still knows her, he might know something about this shit. Yeah, fascinating. So, and there's, it just on and on. And then, of course, they talk about this. And then they're talking about Evergrande is going to blow up these other ones. This is the largest one. I don't know if it was supposed to be this great thing. Let's see if they moved in. It's like just a fucking story. Okay, this is just a narrative about it. That's the other thing, too, is they used up a bunch of water to make fake snow in China, and now the water in the area is poison. Oh, yeah, and the tax policy about owning property, because they're trying to drive down ownership. You know that Tucker Carlson thing about houses are for a living and not for speculation. That's actually a good thing. That bullshit that he was talking about. And there's the one with the red sands around it. Look at this shit. That's down in, is your other areas. I was on that train. I've been on that train. It goes through the building. Yeah. Some real cities. Oh, wait. Hey, hold on. Back the fuck up. Yeah, so Tianjin. There you go. Right here. Play this again. It was too small a clip. Hold on. Right? Hold on. And this is all promo video the Chinese have put out. So, right here. Okay. So, in Tianjin, there's right above there, that's a main road into the city. And there's like a river that goes around the main city. Is this, maybe it's Chongqing. Anyways, this is the, like, shopping, but like tourist mecca, this little area right here. It's about 3 square blocks. And it's built up into the side of the mountain. It's big, but it's not like, holy fuck, look at the size of that thing. It's just kind of a large shopping mall built up against a wall, right? There's a little like walkway in between here that's about a third the size of a road that you can walk through, and there's, you can buy stuff. And I went shopping and all this thing. And think of this as Times Square, but in a building, right? And this is the place that I was talking about where we went, and there's supposedly 35 million people in this fucking city. And this is the shopping district, not just for tourists, but for everybody. This is where everybody comes on the weekend. This is where the party is, man. and I could walk around with my arms stretched out and not bump into anybody. You couldn't do that any time of the day, practically, in Times Square. Day or night. And there's, what, 7 million people in all of Manhattan and the boroughs? And New Yorkers are notorious for not going to Times Square. Locals don't go anywhere near the fucking place. That's where I got my back tattoo. The temporary tattoo. They have these temporary tattoo booths, and I was like, all right, we got to film that. Get it done. It was cool. It was supposed to last 7 days. It lasted about 2. I was very disappointed. I'll see if I can post the picture sometime. Right. So notice, okay, it's a rainy day, so these are people out walking around. And this again, this is promo material. Look, a little KFC right there. KFC. Kentucky, the way you say Kentucky in Chinese is Kendaji, which is Zhou is state, so like California's California Zhou, California state. Kentucky is Kendaji Zhou. Kendaji loosely breaks down to bite the big chicken, which I think is kind of appropriate considering. And then there's a Starbucks right there, and Estee Lauder, and yeah. This is the part they're pissed about in the government there. So, yeah. So I went to a couple of markets where it was like, back up. So short. God damn. It was like that. Okay. So there were a couple of places I went to that had crowds about that size, where that was the most packed I'd seen. Yes, KFC is the largest franchise in China. That's true. American. It is because I bathe. Right. That's, I see, for how long it lasted. I see. Right. Good point. Look at Skechers. Look at, there's Skechers right up here. I was in this area, I went through a bunch of these, and this is about the biggest crowd type I ever saw. I've seen crowds like this in Chicago. I've seen crowds like this in New York. I've seen them in Seattle, down at the fish market. You ever go down to the original Starbucks in Seattle? Always people walking around like this. And again, in cities that have 3 to 5 million people in them. How the fuck is a city that's supposed to have 35 million people in it, or 27 million, or 25, or even 22, with a tourist industry also, have the same amount of people milling around as a one that's supposed to have 35? Well, because the buildings are empty, because they don't have that many people. Traffic's always been a misnomer because everybody lives in the old buildings, nobody lives in the new ones. Hello, I'm Winnie the Pooh. He outlawed Winnie the Pooh because everybody says he looks like him, and he gets mad. Hi, we're building buildings no one's going to live in. And then this is the people leaving. That's the older picture, whatever this is. It changed the tax policy. Yeah, there's the people on trains. Look how jammed they are. These are the areas where there's like just fucking nobody. It's supposed to be the nice new places to live. Nobody's there. There's no furniture. This isn't live. What the fuck are you doing? Just miles and miles to the grocery store. It's like living out in the country, but there's a lot of buildings. I love like I said, I love Chinese culture. I love Chinese people. It's nice hanging it, but this is a fucking mess. Yeah, this is the Chinese city turns into ghost town. You see a bunch of that. Yeah, this is where they replicated France. They built their own Eiffel Tower. Why go to France? Why meet other people? Thanks. What's your IQ? You seem to have smarts. Could you share some of that with the MAGA crowd? No, I will not disperse my 200 plus points to to people who don't want to earn its keep. All right, later in the video. Okay, this is there you go. Took a bus down to the thing, wrote it out there. He went, yeah, here you go. That's it. This is the, yeah. What's this supposedly say? Hold on.
Ignores it and goes anyway.
Oh, it says, yeah, don't go through here.
Here we go. We're underneath the structure.
And then there's always people dance exercising everywhere. They try to pass laws against it in Beijing to drive the ladies who dance and for exercise away. They have these really loud boom boxes that they blow the speakers out of. Yeah, so they rebuilt. They make it all look like French architecture. There's just a dog roaming around. There's the like anything. It's like when they are tourists in countries when they're taking pictures of stuff, they're like bringing them home to recreate it. I mean, seriously, this looks like a place in like Call of Duty, like where they remap parts of Paris. There's so many of these dudes walking around like, go to France without going to France. Look how, yeah. And they recreate the oh yeah, there it is. There you go. Here's the reality of the stuff. This is look at the boards on the windows behind him. Look at that. Look at that. It's a set. They built a giant tourism set so that people, yes, Paris, Las Vegas is closer, right? Like, it is mind-bogglingly weird. And you can rent these little bicycle things, and then they have a fake Riviera for this. It's so weird. Half the people who live there work there. Evergrande, Erie, Ghost Town reveal a scale of China's housing crisis. Look, and I made a joke when we were doing Explore China. The panda is the national animal of China, and I said it should be the crane because we saw nothing but fucking cranes everywhere, just constantly, and nobody lives in. They're 10 developments deep with nobody in them, and they're after 25 years of a one-child policy. Those people are not coming. There aren't going to be people. Look at this fucking French village and shit. And it's just, what the fuck for? Like, why not just leave the land bare and beautiful? Like, why not just, it'd be easier to just create long fields. Just grinding. Yeah, this is in Wuhan. Gee, I wonder why they're not selling. Yeah, look at these. Look over here. Look at that shit. These are the finished ones. These are the newer, like the ones that are currently being built. And there's nobody in these or these. Holy God. That's what it's going to look like. Trust us. Yeah, this is an Australian video, so 408. Dude. What is happening? Experts predict China's $30 million worth of unsold properties and $100 million sold properties still yet unoccupied. And they're leveraged. No problem, CSL. Hold on, I gotta reload my page on there. Dude, this is, I mean, we, like I said, when we were on the trains, we went by all these just rows and rows of these kind of developments being made out the window, and it's kind of like, yeah, I know, I saw the troll. Nice try though. Yeah, the Walking Dead movie set, China edition. Oh my God, the stuff we could film over there. Are you kidding me? Like, I don't know why they don't just use them as movie studios just to get them done. Shit, a Hollywood production team, the carpenters that work on Hollywood production teams could actually make more sound like environments to be in and live in. There, the problem is the fucking ground is polluted. Everything, like, it's just shit. Yes, hi Doc. They could live there while they film. That's right. I mean, we appreciate the trolls when they come by. They try very hard. China should invite Hollywood to move there. Well, Ronan, the problem is they just entered a period where they told everybody to fuck off. Right now, China is insulating their entire movie making industry to make nothing but propaganda films, where they're entering into the Germany 1928 to 31 phase of their film industry movement, where everything is a propaganda movie. It's all Wolf Warrior and magic fighters. It's funny, but like zero drama. Because you can't be mad at yourself. This is just, what a fucking waste. Buildings, some of them are so cool looking. I mean, they're built for shit, but yeah. And so, first city to go bankrupt. Oh, God. Housing prices fall by 90%. Oh, in Hegang, in the Heilongjiang province, was once made famous overnight for extremely low real estate prices. Welcome back. Yikes. Oh, it's up near Mongolian territories. Yeah, these are the newer things where they built them out because they were building up in there. Oh, shit. Yeah, we went to a bunch of places that were kind of like, like these kind of malls, and they had screens out there and yada, yada, yada. And then people come in and they buy these houses. A huge real estate fairs, and people go in there and they buy house upon house upon house upon house. And then they invest their life savings. They borrow from family. They do all kinds of shuffling shenanigans and like, oh, look how sweet this place is. And then that's the demo. And then when you get into the real unit, it's crap. Ugh. I have a message for you. You don't have a house to live in? You see ads posted for rent or for sale? If you ask how much is the rent of the house, you can pay only the heating bill, and you need heat to live there? You can rent an apartment by paying the heat fee only? Yes, you get the apartment. No rent? No rent. Wow. Because they don't want the place to freeze during the winter. Right. They want to make sure. Oh, shit. So people are renting these apartments and buildings just to keep the heat on because they can't afford it. And if they don't, the pipes will burst. Amazing. I mean, we saw this shit while we were over there, and it's like, this can't be good. And on and on and on and on and on. Live in unfinished buildings. Why and how? Abandoned projects all over China. Why so many? The world's tallest abandoned. Look at this woman. Good God. Oh, God. Poor people. This kid, there's no fucking windows. This kid lives in a... Baby wants to see the world outside, but it's too dangerous for children. Like, there's no... Oh, my fucking God. They're just squatting in an unfinished building. Where's this one? They're just finding stuff. So you take a bath, no need to insist. Oh, God. Look at this. Just like. Oh, my. Look at that. Look. Is it just me or is that shit leaning? Ugh. Good Lord. There they are, all having dinner. Place. Oh, this is the unfinished tower. Tianjin Gaoyan. This, yeah. Supposed to be great, and then they ran out of money, and then they tried to infuse money, and then they just abandoned it. So it's a giant abandoned. That's the developer behind it. Yeah, yeah, fuck. There's more than 100 abandoned projects in Nanyang. Heilongjiang has 117. Jesus Christ. Oh, like, is that just the camera? Or is that building leaning? Please tell me he's using some sort of shit fisheye lens. Look at this. I mean, it's like fucking Planet of the Apes. Or Return of the Planet of the Apes. So that was the one where they used downtown Los Angeles and they all came across the bridge that goes between the two buildings. And down, like in near Nakatomi Plaza. Dude. Look at this shit. Just eating and looking out the window and oh God. Meanwhile, this is what Bill Maher thinks when he thinks China. This is what everybody thinks. Hi, Benny Loco. Alex Jones is a real psycho, but when he went to court, his lawyer got off by saying he was just playing a character on a show. Yes, he was lying. He's a liar. It's an easy out, I guess. Entertainment is entertainment. Same thing Tucker said. Same thing Judge Janine said. Same thing Laura Ingraham said. Anytime they get busted, like, this is entertainment. Well, then you need to put up a disclaimer before the show that says the following is for entertainment purposes only. None of the information therein should be taken as strict news. You have to do that when you post on Facebook and other places if you're claiming that something's real. Anyways, this is the this is what everybody pictures. How much is heat? Probably fucking nothing, but compared to, by US standards. Yeah. There we go. Hey, there he is. And Coulter ate Mars brains. Yeah, she went in through the right end, I think. Yeah, so everybody pictures this when they talk about China, and in reality, it's just fucked. Like, so much of this stuff, $53 trillion. And again, your economy should be based on how much leftover money your middle class has to take care of the poor or help them through their taxes and other stuff, or how many, I guess technically millionaires and billionaires your country has that can actually take their money outside the country. And currently in China, there are fucking zero. So I don't want to hear this bullshit that China's printing millionaires like crazy. If you can't, how many of you would be a millionaire if you could never, ever leave America? And if you traveled overseas, they could just take it. Why is it happening? Because there's a mix of ego and shit economics and corruption in China that has just hit a hold on any of the mods, by the way, anytime you see somebody trying to post one of those weird 6-letter links, I think those are tracking links. So it basically put a flag like, watch out for this guy. So, right. That's right, Foggy. Those things. There's a lot of issues that they have. I mean, there was a couple of main things that happened. Was that the only way people in China can invest what money they make when they do make some money is in real estate, because the stock market over there is bullshit and you can't invest outside the country because they want control of your money. Yeah, the Russian bots. And so every time CSL, I know. Yes, and she is a crazy person. He's insane. And to some argument, Putin is too. Putin is like a Carl, right? Is like a manageable crazy because he has supposedly some wants in the world, but for how long? Mm-hmm. Yeah, and again, front lines of Ukraine right here. Like, meanwhile, Detroit's getting an EV makeover. I don't know if you saw that. I posted the talk Governor Whitmer and GM and all these other folks through support from our government to make sure that the industry gets a toehold and doesn't get stomped on, is reinvigorating Michigan in this process because they have the means to create vehicles there and transport them all over the place. They got that Great Lakes thing happening. They got that Mississippi River thing happening. Oh, he's got Putin has ED, so that's why he's cranky? Probably. What's going on in Ukraine today is these people are standing out there, getting tired of standing out there. Members of young KGB, Putin was not a spy, but a counter spy. His job was to be suspicious, and his machismo was a disguise for fear of the West. Or jealousy of the West. That's the other thing, too. It's because he's never going to be smart enough to actually turn the country into a valuable country on his own. He doesn't have the ability to do it. That's the other thing that you got to, yeah. Okay, so let's look at the trends. Oh, I'm already over time, and I got to go. I got to get on the road. I'm driving to LA today. I'll do the show from there when I get there. And then I'm going to, I have rehearsal tonight. And then tomorrow night, we're at Yamava Indian Casino doing 2 sets as our warm up. Russia threatens retaliation, demands on net world later continue prep. Okay, yeah, that's just going to happen. That's the Kid Rock releases novelty song to try and stay relevant. Good luck with that. I think a bunch of other people have already beat him to it. So what? Say hello to Denver Broncos. Morrissey calls on former bandmate Johnny Marr to stop using my name as clickbait. Sorry, dude, you are clickbait. Longtime Red Sox player. That's good. David Ortiz is going to be in the Baseball Hall of Fame. Peter Robbins. Oh, yes, the original guy who voiced Charlie Brown when he was a little kid. Oh, he died at 65. Because he was really young then. He was like fucking 4 or 5. Yeah. Eddie Van Halen, always a good thing when we appreciate. Oh, look, Nerd Halen came right out of the gate. Just a ridiculously talented dude. It's a shame. What a loss. Smoking, man. There's Todd. We love you, Todd. Todd Dammit Kearns, everybody. That's funny. I don't know who made this photo, but it's awesome. That's pretty great. Just basically reinvented what everybody, could do. it's interesting because I loved his, handmade guitars, the ones he made out of these, these Fender Strats, and then he got this Music Man thing going during the 80s, and he loved the guitar, and he had him design it to his specs and all that kind of stuff, but it looked like something a jazz guitar player. Oh, look at that, Nerd Halen. By the way, we're in Ultimate Jam Night, February 1st. We'll be there. I think we're doing 5150 and Romeo Delight. Yeah, pretty sure. We'll see. But when he started using the Music Man, these guys, like, I know he loves that guitar, but it just looked like something a jazz guitar player would play to me. It's just funny, like this was always how I picture him. And it's interesting how the body style of a guitar can change everything. This one was kind of the roughed up one. That looked pretty cool. And that also, he did his thing. He uses like just an eye hook and screws that into the wood, and then just uses these like clippers for a guitar strap so it won't come off. Yeah, Eddie. CEOs, Gandhi. Amateur trading watch the dreams of New Wall Street order collapse. Stonks. Meme stocks, cryptocurrencies, broader stock market have tumbled with astonishing speed this year. Blah, blah, blah. Yeah, and because the big guys are clearing out the suckers, dummy. Oh, Alito, what's happening? What's it? Yeah, okay, this is it. And then what would be next? Yeah. Oh, just need Thomas or Alito to. Oh, that's terrible. Quit it. Breyer 83, Thomas 73, Alito 71. They're just going by who could drop off by age as far as who's coming in. Jesus Christ. Gorsuch is only 2 years older than I am? Lord. Mm-hmm. Good Lord. All these people wishing for awful on Alito and stuff. Don't do it. Don't take the bait. Do not wish ill or death on anyone, because if you're that kind of person, I'm not sure that the law should go your way. Lisa McKenna supports John Lewis voting rights. How was voting no? How was it? Well, because it's the current form of the bill or whatever. But in Murkowski's she's in cycle, but in Alaska's new runoff, some D voters are more valuable to her than MAGA R's who support the Trump backing challenger. That's arguably true. That she could win crossover Dems with the remaining Republicans and stay in her seat if she won them over. But if she doesn't, do this, then probably not. Watch Biden? What? Watch Biden nominate a black woman for SCOTUS, and Manchin and Sinema refuse to blow up the filibuster to get her from arm because it's never been done before. I don't think you have to do that. Like, SCOTUS nominations are already outside the filibuster. Look at this. Biden signs bill to expand police and first responder benefits. Signed 3 bipartisan bills that expand benefits for the nation's law enforcement officers and first responders along with the communities they serve. Protecting America's First Responders Act of 2021, the Confidentiality Opportunities for Peer Support Counseling Act, and the Jamie Zapata and Victor Avila Federal Officers Employees Act, Protection Act at the White House Thursday. The bills expand benefits for first responders injured in the line of duty and offer more counseling resources for police officers. Cool. Right, there goes the defund the police narrative falling apart again. Biden swats away reporters shouted questions on Breyer, jokes with White House guests. You want to go to the Supreme Court? Oh, that's fine.
There has been no announcement from Justice Breyer. Let him make whatever statement he's going to make, and I'll be happy to talk about it later. Thank you so much.
Mr. President, so we're going to...
I'll be happy to talk about this later. I'm going to get into this issue, okay? Thank you so much.
We're going to start by asking Tom Lambarger to offer your thoughts, please, sir.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. President. It's an honor to be here.
Supreme Court, Tom?
I'm just going to demur on that one, but it's really an honor to be here. Thank you for inviting me.
He's always messing with these people, right? Lover's like, he'll put anybody on. He's getting old. Like, there's probably going to be a Don Jr. video that I'm going to have to do talking about this bullshit where he's going to end up, like, they're going to go, he asked this guy who's just sitting at the table if he wants to go. I mean, guys, he's, I mean, it's like he's going to just pick anybody, you know, and this is, where's my notes? This is, what do you think of Bitcoin? People keep trying to convince me it's a way to go. Tell me your honest opinion, please. I think it's fucking ridiculous. Here's the problem. Bitcoin is great if you're a drug smuggler and you're trying to find an off-grid way of transferring funds from one place to another. If you are not a human trafficker or drug smuggler, it doesn't have any intrinsic value yet. And the funniest part about Bitcoin and all these things to me is like blockchain as a concept is a great idea for keeping records and fucking trademarks and all that kind of stuff. It's a great way to do it. But for God's sake, using it as a point of exchange is friggin' ridiculous. And most of the people who talk Bitcoin up the most are the same assholes who have been telling us for decades that gold is real money because it actually exists. Right? What the hell? You're going to go from gold is worth something because you can fondle it, even though it has no intrinsic value. It's as a mineral, I mean, it makes a nice, really heavy paperweight for some stuff, and there's certainly some electronics that it's useful in. But in terms of its like functional use, it has next to none. It's just a pretty rock. It's a very pretty rock, easily formed. There are other forms of gold, you know, colored stone out there that are not as easily malleable, so therefore making jewelry out of it is harder, which is why gold became popular. Because it was in that sweet spot of easily meltable and hard to steal because it was heavy. But for every other reason, what the fuck is gold for? Other than showing off. Which, don't get me wrong, I'm a huge show-off, and I know the value of showing off. But beyond that, fucking nothing. But the same people are telling you that gold's real money. Invest in gold. You need gold. Like from fucking right-wing and left-wing YouTubers all over the fucking place are always selling you gold. Put your money in gold. What the fuck for? I mean, as an investment because of the greater fool concept, maybe it works, but to what end? What's the end? If you have a big pile of gold, what can you do with it? It is rare, but rarity is not enough of a reason. Yeah, you can make a toilet out of it, exactly. So, and here's the thing. If you believe that, that's fine. It is completely fine to believe that gold is real money and it's physical and you can touch it, you can hold it, you can hide it, and you can keep it, and da-da-da-da. Yeah, arsenic is also rare. Good point. Yeah. But at the same time, you can't say that's why you like it and then also sell Bitcoin, which is fucking like hard drive space. If you lose your password, that gold vanishes into the ether. There's a big Bitcoin dude who died and had his password memorized, and that's just off the table. There's no situation where gold disappears like that, right? You can always find the vault and blow the lock off of it, in theory, with gold. But you fucking can't. You can't bring this fucker back to life and shake his password out of him. And if it can disappear that easily, it's not real. Only Chip can save us. I think he mewed. I think. Hold on, but before I leave, because I'm already over time. Let me see. Are you out here, buddy? What you doing? Chippo. What you doing? What you doing? I don't know where he is right now. He might be pooping. We don't know. Okay, I can't find him right now. I apologize. Chip has just run away. I know I'm late. I'm gone. I'm over. I'm way over. So much love to you guys. I will see you guys this afternoon. I might be a little late doing the show this afternoon because I'm literally getting up, putting my shit in my car, and driving to Los Angeles. It's about a 4-hour trip. So you do the math. So hopefully I will roll in hot and be able to do the show. But the gear is always questionable at the LA house, thanks to the technological ignorance of the people who spend most of their time at the house. Anyways, good luck. So yeah, that's my diatribe on Bitcoin. More to come, I'm sure. And I will see you this afternoon for fun and hilarity and silliness and goodness. And outro music. Sorry, my bad. I should put this here. Hold on. Just get out of here, man. Nothing under 90. Good point. Yeah. So yeah, I will be driving a steady pace. So if that means I'm a little bit late, better that than not arriving at all. And it's a long drive, so I will, I will take care to keep it within my own personal limits as best I can. All right. But much love to you guys. Thank you so much. Thank you for your support. Thank you for subscribing. Thank you for following. Thank you for spreading the news about the show. Thank you for your super chats and your becoming Patreons. Patreon.com/HalSparks. Good idea. You can do it for a year now in one fell swoop. It's lovely. And then thank you so much for joining on Twitch. Twitch.tv/HalSparks. Think about it. Give it a mull it about. I mean, how many times have I made you laugh? What's it worth to you? Is it worth a cup of coffee a month? Am I worth buying a cup of coffee once a month? That's it. That's the question you have to ask yourself. And it's up to you. I will leave that up to you. But any way you can help, I greatly appreciate it. Since I've already committed to buying a foot pedal thing so that I can hold a cat and do the show at the same time. Because you guys insist. All right. Yes, send me some Bitcoin. No, do not. Do not send me Bitcoin, please. But the Venmo works. Do that. That works. Yes, twice a month. That's right, Annie Sarah. Thank you. I appreciate that. All right, I'll see you guys. Bye.
I don't read, obviously.
For Iowa values. Action replays in magnified fortune. People want other people to stop shooting and knifing people to death. De-engineering. Voila. They're de-engineering. They do action replays in magnified fortune.
Assuming you're believing in atmospheric filth.
I felt really good almost after taking it.
Free health care for illegal.
Thank you, Christy.
They don't like the gas. They will out. They don't like the gas. Hydrosonic, I go in super duper. And I was, part of a family that was very well knit.
I had to beat off.
Maga. We're going to be appointing very pro-crime judges. Yosemites. We're going to be appointing very pro-crime judges. Michigan gave us Motang. Michigan gave us Motang. Michigan gave us Motang. Gave us Motown, gave us the Mustang. Once it was reluctantly aroused. It was hard to get it aroused, and it is hard to get it aroused, but we got it aroused. That's better than a brick because you can't throw a brick, it's too heavy. We're going to be appointing very pro-crime judges. They're not allowed to be offensive, unfortunately. They just explode. Winston Churchill stood on the rooftops in London, very calm, making speeches. Winston Churchill. Some people agree, and many people don't agree, but I think most people very much agree. You're gonna frack. You're gonna frack. They don't like the gas. But to me, Corona means Italy. Military institutions and their installations. The sand was loaded up with blood. Action replays in magnified fortune.
First Lady's doing great, and I would say fully recovered or just about fully recovered, but we are fully recovered, and I am.
For Iowa values. For Iowa values. Buramicia. For Iowa values. Buramicia. The Burmese executives. So these Buramicia, they say, pronounce it Buramicia. Illegal, look. Free health care for illegal, look. For Iowa values. Corrupt political crass. A lot of that sand is going to be loaded up with peace. Computer board. De-engineering. Computer board. When they gaze upon Yosemites. Winston Churchill. Brett Kavanaugh.
I had to beat off.
Brett Kavanaugh. Boy, that was like a lightning rod went off. I didn't become different. I got impeached twice. Brett Kavanaugh. Here I am like an idiot. I don't know. That's the kind of thinking you've got. That's the kind of thinking you're supposed to be voting for, I guess, huh?